According to the National Down Syndrome Society, approximately 1 in every 700 babies in the US is born with Down syndrome. That's about 6,000 a year. So I'm sure many of you have seen people with Down syndrome before, or you might even personally know someone with it. Now, stand if you know any information as to what causes Down syndrome. My name is Austin Alvarez, and today I'm going to inform you about the effects of Down syndrome on people and how it affects their daily lives. By the end of my speech, you will be able to understand the reasons as to why children are diagnosed with Down syndrome and the fact that Down syndrome is not a disease, but it is a condition. Some of the main points I will be going over with you today are the different genetic variations, symptoms, and health complications. Down syndrome results when a normal cell division involving chromosome 21 occurs, according to Mayo Clinic. This extra genetical material is responsible for the characteristic features and developmental problems of Down syndrome. Human cells normally contain 23 pairs of chromosomes. A chromosome carries genetic information which forms your genes. Trisomy 21 is the leading cause of Down syndrome, about 95% of the time because it has 3 copies of chromosome versus the usual 2 copies. Having 3 copies of chromosome 21 is caused by abnormal cell division during the developmental stages of the sperm or egg cell. Mosaicism is a rare form of Down syndrome. A person only has some cells with an extra copy of chromosome 21. Translocation is when a portion of chromosome 21 becomes attached onto another chromosome. Here are some of the diagrams that shows the different genetic variations of the causes of Down syndrome. Now that you have some basic knowledge on the different types of Down syndrome, I'm going to talk about the symptoms that result from this condition. People with Down syndrome can have mild, moderate, or severe intellectual and developmental problems. As you can see, children and adults have distinct facial features. Some of the more common ones include a flattened face, a small head, slanting eyes, or a short neck. Most children with Down syndrome have delayed language and both short and long-term memory loss. MedicineNet stated that there is decreased mental function and the IQ may range from 50 to 70 for individuals with Down syndrome. Now that I've explained the symptoms of Down syndrome, I will talk about the different complications it brings. Here you can see some of the facial features that kids with Down syndrome may cause. People with Down syndrome have a variety of complications which get worse as they get older. Such complications can include heart defects, obesity, leukemia, dementia, and other issues such as heart defects, hearing problems, and thyroid problems. Down syndrome is also associated with other health conditions, although the life expectancy has increased dramatically to live more than 60 years. Now that you have been informed about all the complications having Down syndrome brings, I'll move on to my conclusion. Some of the key factors I want you to remember are that Down syndrome is caused by different genetic variations. There are a variety of symptoms, and having Down syndrome can come with many health complications. Hopefully, you have gained some information about this condition, and the next time you see someone with Down syndrome, you can be a little more understanding.